Phil is either gonna be late or absent, he's coming back from me. So first on the list is Mr. Frank.
Good evening. I'm here to ask for a request to release the cease and desist on the houses and lots up at Oxford.
After seeing you coming in, I talked to the planning board, and they said the only thing that's been met so far is that the plan has been turned in. That the as-built hadn't been done because it can't be done until the work's done. That, looks like all this is, I guess there's some driveway work that had to still be done on.
Somewhat, sorry.
Driveway work on drainage issues.
And I brought Mark Barnes here with me, if you guys want to discuss any of that, he can answer your questions.
Well, basically, I don't know if there's anything to discuss, it just has to be done before we can, you know, you can't turn in an as-built, which is one of your conditions, until everything there is done. So the only thing that's been done, based on what the planning board told you to do, is that they turned in the plans, taken lot 20 off of it. I mean, that there was the one drainage pond that had to have a fence around it, there was a lot of things.
Well, I think there were a lot of things done before the plan was approved, because we did things that were on the plan. These are corrections to fix the project.
These are corrections because you couldn't meet what you'd done.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So I'm here to ask, I'm looking to get the cease and desist released so the houses can be built, the houses can be finished, and if you'd like to hold the last house's occupancy permit to make sure everything gets done, that's a significant amount of money with one house being built. Either work is done, or it's bonded, or there's a house sitting there without an occupancy permit that was released by the town. The last one.
I guess I don't understand. Why do we need to release the two houses for you to complete the road work?
You know?
Okay.
The neighbors out there want the houses done, I think. Some here, I don't know if they want them done or not, that's up to them.
Did you have a copy of the minutes from May 18th? About what was required from the planning board?
Well, I think I was at the planning board meeting when they approved the plan.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any reason why you can't release the cease and desist if you're holding one house at the end and it's not going to be an occupancy permit to make sure this work gets done.
I guess my opinion on that is every time we give you an inch, you take a mile.
Well, I don't understand that comment, quite frankly. Because,
Oh, come on, Jim.
well, Mark's been out there doing the work.
Right, but I mean, there's been other times that we've said, okay, we'll let you do this if you do this, and then the second part didn't come in.
Well, which part was
And I
that?
know you're trying to fix a bad situation from a previous person, and so far you're doing pretty good, but it's a matter of, right now we have leverage to get it done. If we release everything but the last house, we've given up our leverage.
You want to
Charles Cleary, Mr. Dufresne's attorney. So, yes, you have leverage, but I think, hasn't Jim spent the last 2 years trying to fix this project on his own? I mean, isn't it the help of the person who's talking about anymore? It's not like he walked away. I guess I don't know when we talk about the other things he hasn't done, but on this project, he seems to have spent a ton of money on Charlie Zilch and me and paying Mark Vines. I don't think you've got a problem with him disappearing, if that's the concern.
Well,
he's here all the time.
I guess.
That's a bad side to that statement too, Charlie.
Well, I know you don't want to see him all the time, but he has.
Why can't all the roadway improvements be done? Then we can deal with the two house lots.
Well, you could, but it helps.
Okay, that's then you answered my question. Thank you.
But I think Jim's question is, why can't you allow him to earn some money as he's spending all
We allowed that thing to go completely. We were up to 4 houses. We released it down to 2. We're still waiting for the final stuff to be done, and it's still not done.
Oh yeah, but come on.
Oh, but everything comes to
Let me finish. The CIC just finished meeting and the planning board just approved it.
Okay, so finish the plan and come back for the last 2 houses.
What do you mean finish the plan?
Finish what needs to be done on the roadways.
There are 3 house lots and 2 houses
Yeah.
to be completed.
But there's also a bunch of road issues.
Yeah,
So if the
but-
road issues were fixed, then I don't see any reason why there's.
I don't think there's a road issue, there's drainage issues. And to get the other 3 houses built and these ones done, helps getting the road issues or drainage issues complete. There's nothing wrong with the road, it's just drainage.
And there was one time you talked about putting up a bond to do work.
I love to check at the girl's office back in January. Sat there for 6 weeks.
And they returned
She told me to come back again.
Well, I think there's a note here that says they don't know if we can legally take a bond on that since it's a private thing. And now the association's in charge of the neighborhood. That is, it's the association that needs to hold the bond. That's a legal issue.
it. Yeah, I think that's probably right. I think the planning board, has the bond authority, but he's offering something in lieu of bond. He's offering real estate collateral. You know, lots won't be sold, or houses won't be sold or built.
You think the town wants to go into have real estate collateral
No,
instead of
what?
No.
Yeah.
We've been screwing around with this for 2 years now.
Everybody is.
Longer than 2 years.
I've only been here a year, so I only have a year's worth of information.
But everybody's on the same page to get it done, aren't they? I mean, is anyone questioning?
We're on the same page.
Who is?
We are.
So you think, Jim, this is all a mirage? He's not intending to do anything?
I would say get everything done that could be done, and then we can talk about the houses.
How much are we holding? How much money?
We're not holding anything. It's what's the planning board holding, and I don't know that
Plain
answer.
one requirement.
They didn't require one because it was a private neighborhood.
Because of the cooperative nature of the whole thing. His engineer put together his TRC meeting.
I mean, I realize that there's a lot of issues between Jim and the condo association that is not our issue.
Right.
You know, driveways and all that type of stuff. And that's what, in one planning board meeting, they wanted to get a bond to protect that. And that's what we said we can't do because that's not our issue. So, you know, the association is gonna have to defend themselves where town can't really step in where it's a private issue. But, I mean, we can take a vote on releasing it, but, you know, it's
Okay, what guarantee do we have that it gets done?
I didn't think you wanted to vote. Yeah. You understand? Let me just say, so the points, what seems to be happening is that Mr. Dufresne, through his company T-TAC, has come in, agreed to solve this problem caused 3 out of 5, how many years ago it was? I think he's hired the right people, he got the thing to an approved plan that could be finished, which was a difficult job in itself. Planning board approved that plan, and now he's simply asking, not release everything, not.
the planning board approved that plan with, what do I want to say?
Well, what's the?
Contingencies on what had to be done.
Yeah.
It hasn't met any of those, other than turning into one plan.
Well, most of it-
changes on it.
Most of it's work, isn't most of it work on the contingencies?
Not since last week.
No, most of it's work, most of the contingencies are to fulfill the work.
Right, that's
So
what I'm
that's
saying.
right, so he's saying, I'm ready to start the work, it's gonna cost money.
I mean, the other argument is 2 years ago, we knew what had to be done. What's happened in 2 years?
No, he could not do it, planning board would not allow that. Could not do it.
Don, when did we do the sidewalk out there?
Last fall,
Yeah, September or something?
before you guys approved that everything to be released in November. There was work that had to be done, the bond had to be posted, work was done, the bond was posted, and went back and changed the plans to meet what the planning board wants, and Mark's getting ready to go in there to do it. We did meet in November of last year.
But Charlie also, although he got what was needed on the plan, it's been since last September to get all that to us, to get it to the planning board.
No, we were out there last fall, we did a site work was done, Mike Vine said work last fall, and we met the conditions, we came in here in November, you guys voted 5-0 to release the lots and the houses and
We
the
were
cease
gonna
and
release
desist.
the lots, and then that's another issue, is that Robert asked for a engineer or to go in and view the house, the pink house we call it, to see if there was any damage from being Tyvek for so many years. Instead of doing that, he got a letter from your wood supplier.
Not from me. He didn't get anything from me. He didn't ask me for anything. He might have talked to Bob Valella and asked for something, but nothing was asked of me.
It wasn't Galella, it was after Galella.
Yeah, it was, all he got was
Not from me.
from
Did.
the wood supplier said they had checked the interior of the building and that.
So then
it's
you don't
fine.
release the permit on that house. Who cares about that house until you get this, a structural engineer to okay whatever's done out there?
Well, Robert said even to let him in there, and he said.
He never asked me or walked around the building.
All right, well, I'll talk to Robert about that tomorrow.
Actually, it'd be nice if we could meet with Robert and going Greenwood on some Monday or Thursday. I would love to have that happen.
That's fine.
Susan, if you can call Charlie and set up, maybe somebody Cameron would like to be part of it too.
I mean,
That's all.
I'm all for letting you make some money to finish the work.
I'm not looking to make money. I'm looking to finish this project.
All right.
Work has to
Make
be
money was
done.
bad work. Cash flow.
Blasting has to be done out there on 2 of the lots. Everything is gonna get done unless there's a lot to get done. And what I'm suggesting is, the last house that's out there does not get an occupancy permit. You're talking, I know you wanna be in the real estate business, but if we get work done, it's down to 20 grand worth of work. I can tell you, I'll put up a bond for 20 grand to make sure I get the last one released, if the work isn't 100% done.
That's actually a standard planning board condition on a lot of things.
I mean, I think you know, part of our plan was to go down the cul-de-sac and start doing everything and working our way out. It was a house lot halfway up. So you'd be able to complete it if we didn't complete the house.
How long would it take you to do that work?
Probably starting in the back, probably 3 or 4 weeks, you know, but you know, there's a house lot right there, so like we thought is we go in, finish the cul-de-sac, then all them people are done. They're done, the grass will be growing, they don't have to deal with it and work our way right back out to the big rock out front. But if we get all the houses done along the way, then we're not going back in there and tearing up. You know, if I make a swale, then we go build a house, or somebody else comes in and build a house, we might end up in the same problem we had now with the swales building. Right now, I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna do the swales and the house lots. So everything's gonna stay to the plan, not different people in there. And then we can clean up like an area out and work your way right out.
So you need the cease and desist lifted in order to get building permits, is that correct?
Yeah, so, and then we can finish and then, like I said, we can get everything established all the way down and then the only thing that'll be left is paving. So some of the driveways need shimming with pavement.
So the question is, this came from Glenn Greenwood, prior to ending the cease and desist and issuing permits, the roadway improvement plan must be completed as the as-built. Is that what you have now?
Yeah, I guess we consider that plan the as-built, finished plan.
Is that plan the as-built?
Well, it will be, we're gonna follow
We
that.
don't have an as-built yet because it's not built.
Yeah, but
So
the way I guess what they did is,
as-built till it's built.
So how can they not have you lift the cease and desist? You know what I'm saying? So what they're saying here to us, the planning board, is prior to ending the cease and desist is what he would like us to do tonight, and issuing permits, the roadway improvement plan must be completed as an as-built plan.
No, it says and an as-built plan.
It's 2 things they're doing.
2 separate things. So they want the work done so they can turn in an as-built plan.
Okay.
Can,
And
if,
Dennis will sign off on it, and the planning board will be happy, we'll all be happy, and it'll be done.
Planning board never said that at their meeting.
But they didn't say what?
They didn't say anything about this. They didn't say anything about,
you
We've
know,
got
you
this
know,
in Glenn Greenwood.
I think your suggestion that we sit at a table and get it hammered out is appropriate. It's hard for me to vote, I mean,
Minutes of the meeting, final as-built plan be submitted upon completion. It's one of the contingencies. Unit 20 be removed from the plan, which it was.
It's on the backside of this.
Add a note regarding the additional waivers,
which you can't do.
relabel basin and filtration system, fence around the basin to be labeled and installed around the basin.
It's on the other side.
No, I know that's a condition of the planning board approval. The cease and desist is the selectmen's decision.
Right.
I don't know why Glenn is commenting on the cease and desist. He should have mentioned that back in.
Because the cease and desist was issued because none of the work was getting done.
Well, you guys, and that's it. And now the plan is done and it's ready to build, as Mark just
The
said.
plan's done, but the neighborhood's not done.
Right.
And
Ready-
one of the
ready-
conditions was an as-built be done.
Yeah, ready to go. Ready to go.
I mean,
I can tell you, I went in last week and did the CFO for the house that's to the right of your home. I forgot that.
Mulligan Way,
Yes.
No,
I get a call.
7 bank grass.
Right. Yeah, that house is completed with the exception of some of the groundwork outside, the grass or whatever. I went in and did the final sign off for 911 last week.
Yeah, yeah. Jim told me.
I mean, my opinion, if we have another meeting in 2 weeks, ask the same question in 2 weeks. You know, when we see what Mr. Vines can get done in 2 weeks, if he can get some of the work done and show that an effort's being made,
But that's gonna request us listing cease and desist.
Well, it's gotta get permits to do the work, right? For
No, you can do the work without the cease and desist is on houses.
right?
It
And
has nothing to do with the road work.
And the approval was to let them do the work, road work, because that was the main reason for the cease and desist, was that there were drainage issues and everything else.
So if we lift the cease and desist and allow Mr. Beans to do the road work and he doesn't, then what do we do then?
Put the cease and desist back.
Well, the dog is already beyond the hunt or God of the barn.
Well, it
whatever that
would be
phrase
like,
is.
the houses would be just starting to
You
go.
know,
Yeah,
You do it that fast.
if you don't think they're gonna do the work, we never should have the final approval. I mean,
All right, let's play the other side of the card. What if we lift the cease and desist? What happens in a month if the work's not done? And you've built a house and the work's still not
What
done?
I'm suggesting is you have 3 lots.
I know
and
what you're
2
saying.
houses. Pick whatever house or lot you want and do not, and right now say, we're not gonna give an occupancy permit on this house unless the work is done. Or if there's a little bit of work left to be done or an as-built, we're gonna hold the bond to make sure it gets done, to release that last occupancy permit.
I think they're in a safe spot there because he's selling the lots to somebody, and they're gonna be on him, because they're not gonna be able to sell the house.
Like all the other homeowners are on here?
No,
Well, you mean the homeowners that get occupancy permits when they probably shouldn't
This
have?
would be a guy
because
that-
They have the highway guy inspect the driveways, are those the homeowners you're talking about?
Yep.
So how many occupancy permits were issued, signed off by the town without Rich St. Hilaire signing off? The first 20. He didn't sign off on one of them.
But it was a private neighborhood and private development. He doesn't normally, at that point, now we
If he
voted that
if
he
he
does.
inspected the first house, it's never gotten this far. He would have said, no occupancy permit, culvert needs to go in, undig out the swales. Because the swales were all there when the road was put in. Dennis Quintel will tell you that.
No, I know. I've been in on those conversations.
So where's the halfway point? Where can we meet you halfway to show good faith in our end and have you be able to do some work as well?
Hold 2 of the houses for occupancy permits. I mean, there's blasting that's gotta be done on 2 of the lots, foundations put in, culverts, swales. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking
That's
about
not
digging up
unusual.
the roadway.
So right now, what is there left? There's the 2 unfinished houses.
2 unfinished houses and 3 lots.
And that doesn't include lot 20, right?
We're not even talking about lot 20.
Okay, so there's,
That would be
Well, that's my
4.
problem. That's what it happened. We never talked about
I
lot
want to
one.
hear you say it again, that there's the 2 unfinished
Take this
houses.
down.
There are 2 unfinished houses, land unit 2, which is 4 Bancroft Circle, land unit 29, land unit 30, Mulligan Way,
And then 20's out the window,
20 is across the street sitting there.
which is never.
And
gonna
lot
happen.
34, Bancroft Circle, which is not lot 20.
I'd go for that.
Hmm?
I'd go for that. Tie up the 2 houses, no occupancy permits and.
And you can pick the two lots of houses, it doesn't matter to
You
me,
can do
it
those
just
2
take
lots
time.
and 2 more for that matter.
Make sure you pick the ones further out, and then.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which ones you
No,
pick.
no,
No.
finish.
Yeah.
Is that
I
all?
wanna, if we're gonna pick, I wanna pick two that haven't been started yet.
Exactly.
Pick lot 34 and lot 2, Bank Grass Circle. That keeps you out of the cul-de-sac. We can finish the last house on the cul-de-sac and go right around and finish the two houses.
Is that
If the
all?
neighbors want the houses done, which I think they do.
I would be irate, but.
Especially the ones that are gonna be blasted,
Yeah,
How close are they?
real close, we're in the middle of
So
everything.
they're from Aspen.
Yeah. So we'll do a smaller blast and everything, but we handed one of the last ones we put in, we were lucky.
Ready,
But
Susan?
the other two are definitely not getting handed.
How much do you have in house? How much?
Alright,
Well, you guys have 6 feet.
let's make a
Such a
deal.
softie.
Let's make a deal. I move that we lift the cease and desist, and so that Mr. Dufresne can get the building permits he needs to proceed with the project. But we put allow no occupancy permits on 2 houses.
Not actually no permits whatsoever.
No permits allowed.
How about foundation permits, so you can do the blasting?
No permits, none.
No permits.
Till you get some of this other stuff, then you lift that.
If we get significant work done, we'll come back and talk about the other two.
That sounds fair.
I feel like if we're gonna go that far, then we ought to give him the foundation permits,
Yeah.
just so.
We can blast, get
When
them back.
Ryan's is out there doing all the work, he can do the perimeter drains and everything, and get that, so he's not coming back.
Culverts.
Yeah, water, so we can get in all the houses, and then I can finish all the drainage, get all the head walls in,
You wanna,
and, would be 100% per plan.
I'm okay with that.
Richard?
Hey, you know what? Let's give it a shot.
Sometimes you gotta roll the dice.
I'll second that.
Every time I've given you a shot, I've been sorry, so please don't make me sorry again.
Well, I think it was in there last fall, and I was sorry about it.
This type of issue.
So no permits other than the foundation
On those 2 houses.
on those two, and you pick the lots, right?
And it's which 2 lots? were they?
Lot 2, Bank Grass Circle, which is number 4.
Yeah,
And lot 34, which is number 3, Bank Grass Circle.
okay,
So I want new houses, not existing.
Correct.
Okay.
okay.
Did you get which lots those are, Susan?
Yeah, lot 34 and lot 4.
No,
which is
lot
2
2.
and 3.
Lot 2, Bank Grass Circle,
Lot 2 and then.
which is number 4.
number-
And lot 34 is
Lot
lot
2, number 4.
So it's
Street
number
name.
3 and number 4 by the grass circle.
I'm sorry, what?
Are the addresses number 3 and number 4?
Yes.
I can look it up.
So we.
Well, you sure you got it right, Susan?
Street number 3 is number lot 34, linear 34. And number 4 is street linear 2.
Get a couple of things,
I'm still stuck at number 20, so let's not go there.
pretty far, I don't have to buy it.
And on those, don't give a building permit or occupancy permit.
Right.
Just so we can get the foundations in. But on the other 2 houses in lot 30, release everything.
Just remember the 2 existing houses, the Tyvek house Robert wants to go through before he continues.
That's not.
I think what you need is a structural engineer.
We may,
To
at some point,
certify.
let's let Robert look at it first, because it could be there's no damage.
That's right.
I mean,
So I'll call
why
Robert
waste-
on Wednesday, give you a chance to talk to Robert tomorrow. I'll give him a call Wednesday, whenever he wants to go up there, I'll meet him up there.
Okay, and then if he says there's damage, we need a better opinion, then we get it.
If he wants the structural name, we'll hire a structural
But the
engineer.
Tyvek, I mean, from what I've seen, it's not terrible. It's, some parts are, but most of it's, we'll see how it is. So we have a motion, no second yet.
And
Okay.
Oh,
Don
you did?
second.
Okay.
Can I read this back and make sure we got it right?
Yeah,
To lift the cease and desist, but allow no permits except foundation permits on lots 34 and 2, which is number 3 and number 4 Bed Grass Circle.
is that correct?
Is that right?
Well, I think you're releasing the other lot 30 and the other 2 houses.
Yes, you said release the
Oh, okay.
cease and desist.
Except allow no permits except
And only
foundation
permits,
on the
foundation
side.
only.
Right.
So basically, he's gonna be able to continue all the houses except 2, and those we can do up to the foundation.
Right. Okay.
Any other discussion?
No, because you still have the other 2 on the other side, right?
No, you released everything.
We're releasing everything.
Except for the ones that will probably not last until the foundation's in.
We didn't ask for it yet, you can get it.
Public comment?
I'm sorry, did you ask for public comment?
I've got Jim Scarpelli on Zoom. Go ahead.
Correct. I joined the party a little bit late here, sorry. My question is, if we're gonna remove the cease and desist, and are we gonna stick with the original plan or the modified plan? Either way, I don't see any street lights going in that are on either plan. Is that planned to happen, or when is that gonna happen? Or what is the story with that?
I don't know if any streetlights was ever in that plan.
I don't know the answer to that.
Don't know.
Whatever's on the planning board's approved plan has to be done.
That's never been brought up before, I don't know if that's actually required.
I don't think that has anything to do with this here either. Do you normally put in lights on developments, Jim?
Whatever's on the plan would approved.
Okay.
If it's on the plan, it's on the plan.
And if it's
I
not,
agree,
it's not.
I don't know if it is or isn't on the
Okay.
plan, but it's never been brought up before.
If it's on the plan, they have to be done. If it's
Yeah,
not,
you
they
just
don't.
part of doing all the other stuff that you
Okay,
know.
fair enough.
Did that answer your question?
I couldn't really hear, it was all muffled, but
They're not sure that streetlights are on the plan. Whatever's on the plan will have to be adhered to.
okay, that's great. Streetlights are on the plan, at least the two plans that I've seen. Next question is, if they're gonna do the streetlights, then they need to do it before they do the final coat of paving, I would assume.
Yes.
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 You want to make a note of that?
And is there a plan for the final coat of paving, a date?
Yep, when all the house is done.
This sounds maybe more appropriate to planning board.
We can't really hear on the responses, it's very muffled.
That was enough.
We didn't get the $30,000 to put the sound system in here either. so.
Mr. Dufresne said that the street would be completed when the houses are complete.
All the houses have to be complete before the top coat is put down for paving.
No heavy equipment damages anything.
And I would assume you're gonna do driveway cap.
Yeah, I heard that. I may be wrong, but I thought the understanding was when the first 4 foundations were allowed to put in this last go around, because we've been going at this for a few years now. I believe the understanding was these 4 foundations would go in and then Mulligan Way would be paved completely, because that would be the end of the foundation work on Mulligan Way. If that's not the case, then I think we need to talk about what the agreements are that weren't discussed previously.
Somebody has to interpret for me, I couldn't.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want seams, so you'd wanna do that as one shot.
But I think that belongs at the planning board, I believe.
If you pave in pieces, it obviously costs more money than
It
paving.
ain't gonna happen.
We don't want paving pieces.
No. I already talked to Sid and Lee how it's gonna work.
Okay.
Driveways in the road.
They have to finish the driveways and then complete the road, then do the top coat. That's what is being said here.
Right, and again, we were under the understanding it was gonna be a phased approach, where they would do that and do the Mulligan Way final, when they did the final, drainage system, however you wanna call it. And then they would be allowed to continue with the rest of them. I don't see why they would be allowed to continue with the rest of them until they finish what they first said they were gonna do.
He lives on Mulligan Way, that's why he wants it paved.
I don't think there was any talk about
No.
doing it.
All the houses have to get done, the driveways get done, then the road gets paved.
Okay, so everything.
That's the sequence.
If there's no partial paving,
No.
no partial paving, the entire project will be paved, the driveways will be done and the roads will be put in.
And that's normal under any subdivision, I mean.
And that may be normal, I agree, but this has been going on for years, which isn't normal. And the people that bought their house 5 years ago that paid for this really want to have their driveways second paving before the driveways are all falling apart, which they are now, because we had binders for 5 years, and that's not.
Any driveway that is in damaged condition bad enough to need it, they're gonna repair it before they cap it. That was brought out at the sidewalk. I mean, I think there's only 3 or 4 that have gravel showing.
We're St. Leo will tell me which ones.
Right.
Plus we cut through and do the drainage anyhow.
Yeah. Any other comments?
Anyone else with a comment on Zoom?
Do you have a lot of people on Zoom?
A few.
Okay.
I will call for a vote, roll call vote.
Okay. Alessio?
Yes.
Ritz?
Yes.
St. James?
No.
And Wilson?
Yes. Now, let's talk about issue number 2, the swimming pool.
Any Monday or Thursday you wanna get together with, Glenn Greenwood, Robert Stewart, any selectmen, and Charlie Cleary, will come here and meet any Monday or Thursday at 1 o'clock.
Let me try to give you an easier solution. It sounds like there's 2 sides arguing. Town, you and your attorney. 2 different opinions. If you take our opinion, you can appeal it to the ZBA, which is what our recommendation is. And that's what our attorney's recommendation is.
So again, is there a way we can meet with Sumner County, Robert Stewart, Glenn Greenwood, any selectmen, any Monday or Thursday, with Charlie's schedules and yours permit? I'm sure we can solve it in 5 minutes.
It's
We're not here tonight to talk about the swimming pool.
But the other problem with the pool is a lot of work is done now without permits, a lot of stuff I understand you backfilled without any electrical
That
inspections.
was all done last year.
But no electrical inspections were done.
None, just pulled the electrical permit 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I'm the owner of the property, I can pull my electrical
You
permit.
got a sign permit, approval,
Yeah,
For a pool.
everything I
yeah,
got.
well, electrical work, it's just outlets, that's all it is. Again, I'm not here to talk about the pool tonight. I'd love to discuss it, and let's all get together. Glenn Greenwood, Robert Stewart, letters have gone back and forth for months. If Sumner County wants to come, let them come. Any of the selectmen want to come?
If
Let's
Sumner
all get
comes, it'll
together.
come out of your bond.
The what?
If Sumner comes, it'll come out of the bond, which I don't think we
If
can
you
do.
want, I'll bring a check for
Bonds,
Sumner.
it's something different.
I'll bring a check for Sumner.
Okay. I'll see if I can arrange that meeting.
Let Susan know, Susan will let Charlie know, we'll all show up.
All right.
I believe you need the HOA board on that thing also because that's private property, it's
I
not.
don't care about the HOA. It's irrelevant. This is between the town and you.
Oh, point of order.
Yeah.
Someone was speaking out of order anyways, but.
I didn't hear what it said.
That, he referred to the homeowner.
Again, I would just like to comment that that is private property.
Out of order.
Okay, yeah, we're done with that public comment for now.
It's also my understanding, I could be wrong, so I'll check into that, but that the association voted no pools after the pool started.
But that's not our issue. That is, we don't get in, that's.
Well, it is our issue,
Then let's set up a meeting and get together with Robin,
Okay.
with Glenn, and Sumner,
Yeah.
and whoever wants to show up. Love to do it.
okay,
And I'll bring my permits.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Dufresne, it's always a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Which brings us to public comment number 1.
So now we're in a public comment period, general public comment period, if anyone's interested.
No comment from the public, we'll close public comment.
Okay.
Committee liaison reports.
Well, I got one coming in down the pike here. The carnival is coming to town. The finale is gonna be here, and they being the Carol Carbonell and Charlotte Vinciguerra have asked use of the Magnuson Field from Monday, August 2nd to Monday, August 9th. And they will do what has been done in the past, which is to notify the neighbors. I think we provide water, porta potty, and a third thing.
I think they bring their own unit. I think, didn't they bring their own shower units?
Yeah, I don't think we need to provide water.
I think,
Oh, actually, this is a new one. This is a new vendor.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not a new vendor, it's Finelli's, it's the same one we've had.
Is it the same one? I thought that guy passed away.
But may have, but someone else has taken the banner.
I
So
didn't think
it's-
you
they're
got
calling
one,
it
but
Finelli's.
having a hose hookup's not a big deal.
I wasn't sure whether the hose hookup or bottled water, I'm not sure. It said, they said water,
I think here the hose hookup, I wouldn't be providing water, you can get their own bottled water.
Yeah.
I think that's something.
Okay, hold on a second.
Yeah, I think there's water out there, isn't there? Pretty sure there's hose spigots.
We will put trash disposal there, water and porta potty in there.
Yeah, I think they just need hose hookups,
Okay.
I don't think they
Whatever
need-
they had the last time, I don't know what they had the last time, so those are the three things that they would need there. And so they're asking permission from the select board to do this.
I don't have a problem with it.
So I'll move that we, allow, Finelli's, Carnival Group use Magazine Field to house their workers August 2nd through August 9th. And that
And to notify the neighbors
they will notify the
within
neighbors.
the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Magnuson parking lot, which is what they've always used.
I thought that-
We don't want them on.
Okay, Magnuson Field parking lot, okay. And that we will provide trash disposal,
Last time,
water, and a porta potty there.
There's porta potties there.
Okay.
We sent out a notice to the neighbors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's it.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
asking
gonna do
Susan
the
to
same
send a
thing, they're gonna
notice.
send out notice to the neighbors and let them know that.
Not
they-
them, but us, yeah, from the select board.
I thought they did it.
No,
We
we
did
do
it
it.
last time, I think.
I think you did it.
Yeah,
Okay,
we let them know and we had a meeting about it that first year with them.
okay. All right, that's my motion.
Second.
Discussion, roll call.
Palacio,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
St. James, I'm a yes, but I just question, do we need to do roll calls? If we're done Zoom meeting,
We're done officially after the 12th,
we,
Okay.
yeah, I have one person's Dawn, so,
and I'll vote yes.
okay, so I had 4 in favor, correct?
Yes.
This is our last Zoom meeting,
This is our last Zoom meeting? Okay.
which I was gonna talk about later. Any other liaison reports?
Yeah, a couple things from recreation. I had numerous conversations with Paul over the last couple of weeks. They are implementing a mask policy for the summer camp. It's following CDC recommendations and they're mirroring what Camp Lincoln's doing as well. It's kind of tough, but it's still required because the kids are unvaccinated. Paul's gonna, it's like I said, follow CDC guidelines and he'll implement. If the kids are socially distanced, they don't need to be wearing a mask, but if they're together, they have to wear a mask. I didn't think it needed to come to this board. I told Paul he could run with it to the CDC guidelines. The playground, we're still looking at ways to fundraise for the playground for next year. And then,
If you had any response from them.
I believe we have some parents that want to join, like make a group to go. We haven't actively fundraised yet. We're in the process.
I've seen stuff on Facebook saying that they're asking for funds.
We haven't done anything per se on it, but, and then the only other thing Paul asked me, again, I didn't think he was looking for guideline because he's in charge of the fields, but, the Kingston, Little League was looking to host a couple tournament games for the local area when the kids play tournament. So it'd be a Sunday afternoon, but it's the same age group, it's our league, just that they take in other, it's a tournament. So we would host one day out of as it goes around. And I told him I would see a need for.
We used to do that, I guess they've been doing it all along.
Well, no, this is the first time we're actually gonna host a tournament, a regional tournament, but it's only one day, and I said I didn't see a problem for him, that he could approve it. Cause it's
Yeah.
little, it is little,
Yeah.
and we
As
get
long
benefits.
as long as there's no alcohol, I'm in.
I don't think there'll be any alcohol for Little League, so, and I think that's all I have. There was actually, I apologize, I got sidetracked. Cindy did send out, a sensitivity seminar that everyone was supposed to watch. I told her I was gonna kind of look at it in advance and see what it was like, and just one thing led to another, and I haven't had an opportunity to do that. I did
It's
instruct
the
her.
end of June.
What?
It
End of
runs
June is
till the
the
end of
deadline.
Yeah, I wanted to take a look at it beforehand, but I haven't had a chance to do it myself. But I did say that it's required by us as the employer, so we have to pay the people to do it. So the camp counselors, everyone that has to do it, including, you know, they have to be on the clock to do it. They can do it off clock if they want, but we have to pay them.
What if it's a volunteer that takes it?
It's not volunteers, mandated.
No, what if it's a volunteer position?
Well, if they're volunteer,
Like a planning board member that takes it.
yeah, I think, no, if they're volunteer, they're volunteer. But I'm just saying, if it's, like, Paul was asking about his camp counselors and that, that's training. The town has to pay for it.
Right, so-
Highway department, same thing.
So if you're a paid employee, part-time or full-time, we will compensate accordingly. Otherwise, if you're a volunteer employee,
Yep.
like planning board and zoning board, you do it in your own time. Like you-
And we have to allow, if they want to do it on their own computer, that's fine, but it has to be documented that they did it, and then.
Cindy gets a certificate.
Correct, and then, but we need to offer computers for them to do it if need be. That was my only stipulation.
Have you done it yet? How long does it take?
It's about an hour.
Okay.
So, that's all I have.
Just the thing we talked about, the pump, the generator for the fire pump.
I don't know anything about that.
So at our last meeting, building committee, the engineer that was hired to look at the drawings, they gave a certain size for the generator that the grant, there's a grant being written, grant in through emergency management.
Yep.
And they realized that the starting of the generator, the emergency fire pump, draws more juice as well as the rest of the building it overloads the generator, the size of the generator that they're looking at, so that may be a little.
So what was wrong? The size of the generator on the plans was wrong?
The size of the generator that was recommended was wrong, so we've got to up that generator.
So it sounds like that would be the engineer's mistake, the electrical engineer.
It's gonna come out of our contingency.
No, Don, if we had screwed up, they'd be after us to pay up. This is their fault. They screwed up, they should pay.
It's our engineer.
Are you kidding me?
I'm just bringing you up to speed.
I would have to read the contract to see, because contingencies are for that, but yet.
It doesn't affect the building.
Well, it's funny because we have been talking about that all along. We said that's gonna be, everything has to be done properly because that's gonna feed everything.
Just making you aware.
Thank you, Chief.
Don't shoot the messenger.
I guess before I meet, my thoughts, I'd want to have more information.
Sure, talk to Brent, he's got all the information.
But this is still, Seabrook Station's paying like 50% and the state is paying 25%. But are they're paying even if it's the bigger size, or do we have to swap?
My understanding is.
So then the next step of that is, what kind of money are we talking about? We talking about $5,000, $50,000?
No, it's probably somewhere between 5 and 10, but they're.
So 25% of 5 or 10?
Well, they're getting different prices, the different, the larger generator.
Because I wouldn't argue if it was a tiny amount of money, but if it's a large amount of money, it would be an argument. It's not our mistake.
It's not our mistake.
I'll make you aware of what the outcome will be. Meeting again
Wednesday.
next week.
Any Wednesdays?
Anything else?
That's it.
Just a reminder for you to ask the Conservation Department about the second meeting a month. And just that they can cancel. What we're doing with conservation is that when we have 2 planning board meetings, that if the first Tuesday we allow hearings like we did this past week, or a month ago, that the planning board, the conservation department doesn't meet before that, so they don't have time to review the plan. And we're saying they need to put a second meeting on the calendar, and then if there are no plans, just cancel the
Yeah,
meeting.
I agree, that makes sense. Because you've
That
run
way
into
they
that
have the right
issue.
to
Yeah,
respond.
yeah.
book is printed, and right now it's having a binding put on, and we will probably have them in a couple of weeks. So there is progress there, and the sales have kind of gone up and down. We think they're spurting, and all of a sudden they'll come to a stop. But I think once the book's in hand, a lot more people are gonna go for it. Anything else? Whole business, consolidated communication. There is a sheet.
Rich's guy,
How many total was it?
It's in here too.
yep.
I saw that it was individual, I didn't see it tally.
So Rich went out, one of his guys went out and did the entire double pole, for us. I think he said it was Kevin, if I'm not mistaken. And, what is there? There's quite a few. In fact, there's a number of,
There's a lot of poles.
Well, if you just look at the names of all the streets where the poles hit,
yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, what's a lot though? Is it more than 100 or?
I'd say there's less than 100, but probably as much as 75.
And do we look to see what the law states? It's actually
no,
not RSA.
I'm gonna say there's more than 100.
It's all.
I thought there was an RSA that they could have up to a certain amount.
It's 28.
Chief, are you aware of that?
No.
I'm pretty sure Exeter ran into this problem, and there's an actual RSA that states there's a certain amount they're allowed up to. After that, it's a problem.
Well, what needs to happen with this list is we generate a letter, identifying these poles, and send it to the,
Consolidate.
send it to them first, to see when they're gonna fix the problem. If they don't fix the problem, then we'll send it to the,
Utilities division?
public utilities.
Right. You might want to just take a look. I'm pretty sure there's an RSA regarding double poles that they allow X amount. After they exceed that, then it becomes a nuisance or there's remedies, but I'm pretty sure. And we could possibly, if that's the case,
I'm
we
getting
could
somewhere
reference that.
around 130 on a rough quick count.
So it's good.
I mean, don't normally do that, but that's what it looks like. So, what are you saying on that we don't want to sign?
Well, Phil was, looking into that, I know. He was talking to Tammy about it.
I wouldn't sign that yet. I agree, we
We're
push
not
it.
signing.
Yeah.
No. Not yet anyways.
Nope.
Yeah, I think Phil made, the gentleman that he was dealing with aware that we have an issue with double poles.
Okay. Trying to decide if I want to do this. The library, they came in here and asked us for funding for the tent, which I guess they figured out how to do the funding now. They came in last week and were asking whether they needed a permit for it. And then somebody called the planning board today and asked if they needed to go to the planning board for it. And I said no on the planning board, but didn't know if we were gonna require a permit for it.
I think it has to be inspected by us. I believe that falls under fire marshals, which would
Depends
go
on
to
the
the fire
size,
department.
depends on the size. I can't remember what they ended up
I
doing.
think maybe you just relegate it to the fire department, see if
Okay.
there is a need for a permit.
Yeah. I think that it really, it's gonna be a safety issue.
Yeah.
Making sure it doesn't fall over the kids, that type
Right.
of thing. So have them check with Graham.
Yeah.
Okay,
Or Gallant there, Brian Gallant. He's the inspector, fire inspector.
Yeah.
Susan, can you let Rebecca know that?
She should contact the fire department.
Yeah, just to see if they wanna inspect it or whatever, but,
Yeah, the issue is safety issue, so she should check with the fire department, and with Brian Gallant, because he's the fire inspector, and see if they need to do anything appropriately in the. Again, I think you're right, it does depend on the size, because it's not that big, but they've got enough covering.
Well, I don't know if it's size or It could be size or how long it's gonna be up.
And it's also whether it's got sides and
Yeah.
all that type of stuff.
They'll know.
Okay.
When we did the one for the wedding, we were told that
Don't put the size, yeah.
Well, it said it didn't need it because it was not fastened sides that you could run out
Okay,
anyways,
yeah.
which they were, but I don't know why the tin company said that it didn't fall underneath our. And I think some towns write that, and they have to have fire inspections, and we don't have that in our rules.
I think it is standard, especially after the Lancaster incident.
Yeah.
The state cracked down on it.
Okay.
That was a pretty big to-do.
Yeah. New business, the Depot Road property complaints, which we have numerous letters on.
Recommend we send a letter to the property owners and ask them to come in.
Property owners what?
Property owners of the property,
And say what?
ask them to come in, reference complaints.
Okay.
Next meeting.
Next meeting.
The next meeting.
Yes.
And just, I don't know if any of those people are watching, but the town is active on this, that we're not ignoring complaints. We've increased police details in the area, patrols. I, as health officer, have talked to the state about some different things that we might be able to do. So we're not sitting back and doing nothing, we're actively working on it.
It's actually 3 court cases ongoing.
Right.
For that property?
On individuals.
Individuals from the property.
No kidding. Why can't people be good neighbors?
Because State Farm's about there.
Now there's a plug for you.
Anything else on new business?
Yeah, the Zoom is terrible.
Yeah, we just finished that, but go ahead.
Depot Road?
Yeah.
Oh. Can you give me a?
We're gonna ask the property owners to come in and discuss it with us.
At the next meeting.
And I said we're not being idle. Some of the letters said the town's doing nothing. That's not true. We've done a lot of things. There've been some tickets written. There's been some calls to the state to see what authority we have. Different things.
No, I appreciate it. People support, you know, I understand.
And when we feel badly that you're going through some aggravation, to put it mildly. And it's been talked about in town for a while. It's not something new for sure. But we have to bring them in and start the process of trying to get control of the situation. And that's best we can do for the starters anyways.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has to live different lives, but it's gotta.
Right.
And one thing is just that neighbor against neighbor, this is a whole group.
It's not like that.
But hopefully they'll come in next meeting and we'll straighten some stuff out.
And there won't be any Zoom at the next meeting.
Right, that's 2 weeks
Come up
from
soon
tonight.
this week, next Monday.
Okay, yeah, because we're trying to hear.
The acoustics are terrible. You know that. It's really a
We
challenge.
actually could hear you well.
Oh, good.
Whoever listens to the computer, you can hear, and we can hear, you're talking out of the speakers, but yes.
When I've tried to Zoom at home, I can't hear Ellen, I can't hear Don, I can hear everybody else. So,
Go figure.
so 2 weeks would be nice where you ask them to come in.
You come back then?
It's a public meeting
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
Take
coming
care.
down.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board business, we have a revised summer schedule or the summer schedule.
I had scheduled for the July 4th holiday.
Same one, just in writing. Back towards the back.
This one here?
Yeah, yeah. We had, July 5th is the actual 4th of July holiday, so July had to change.
Had to skip that. Your 2 department heads meeting will also be where that'll help to fill it.
So we're doing June 28th and August 30th on department head.
Yes.
It's a real high-tech
And then
calendar.
we're doing June 7th, June 21st, July 12th, July 26th, August 9th, August 23rd, and then September's back to
Well, after Labor Day.
after Labor Day.
Beginning
September's back
September
to every
1st.
week, with the exception of September 6th being a legal holiday.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So actually, go back to that. Is there gonna be a department head?
Yeah, they're on there.
June 28th and right now, two meetings, June 28th and August 30th.
Oh, okay, all right, I got it. All right, I didn't know if that was crossed out. Gotcha.
We have a application here to use the bandstand for wedding. That is September 25th, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. for photos. It's already signed by Rich St. Hilaire and Graham,
I have no objection to that.
and they are town residents.
They just need to get a key, right, to get on there or whatever?
Yeah, or we'll have somebody have it open.
Okay.
I don't know what day that is.
Motion to approve the use of the bandstand for a wedding application.
Second, that's it. It's Saturday, 25th is a Saturday.
Okay, so we'll have to get somebody to open it or give them the key.
Yeah.
Usually, Rich, highway people will open it on that
But
Friday.
it's on a Saturday, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
they'll do it on
Still
Friday.
do that.
Well, that's what the fee is. There's a fee for it,
Right,
and that's what it's for someone to go open it.
there's no mention of the fee on this.
I'll call them
There is a fee.
for bandstand, right?
Yep.
That they're scheduled.
That's the exact
We have a
reason.
motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Alessio?
Yeah.
Briggs?
Yes.
St. James?
Yes.
And Wilson?
Yes.
Who was the second on that?
Kevin,
Okay. Oh, who's the motion?
Just gonna put.
Actually, I made the motion.
Ellen,
Yeah, I seconded it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna underline the, approved with the fee under that, just so we don't forget.
Okay, I move that we approve the minutes, both public and non-public, from the last meeting.
second.
Motion to approve the minutes, second by Don Briggs, Chief Don Briggs.
The only amendment I have is in the non-public. It's checked off that we met for RSA 91A:3 to numeral A for compensation, B for hiring of a person as a public employee, and then legal. We did the legal and we did the compensation. We really haven't hired in there. I don't think that needed both of them. There's two separate ones, A and B. It was one or the other.
Pick one.
Okay, that's when, oh, okay.
Scratch out the high.
I think it was more,
Just scratch one out, Susan. don't
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, we didn't need both of those, that's all. And same thing with the second non-public for May, that's May 26th and May 17th, same thing.
oh, okay. Yeah.
So there's a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Or, roll call.
Yeah,
Briggs?
Yes.
St. James?
Yes.
And Wilson?
Yes. Then, I have a couple of things.
we have non-public now.
I probably have one that doesn't need, well, I think I do want to put it on public. Kind of bored of that.
I have one thing, personnel that, to pass out, that's not important.
Okay.
I have one personnel.
I have one person.
Oh, look at that.
All personnel.
So it sounds like
I
we're
have
gonna,
no personnel.
and do we have a legal?
We haven't, I haven't seen anything legal.
No? Okay.
Is there anything? Yeah, it looks like there is. stuff except for the, library.
Oh, yeah, in the correspondence, it's all those letters we got about Depot Road, there's a lot of planning board, abutter notices and their cases, and then one letter from the library.
Okay, and there's a letter here from the library that they returned $17,263.79 from payroll. Check enclosed. And there's, I think everybody got copies of all the Depot Road letters. Sorry, not signed. I'll put the post count in with consolidated, just so there's a copy with it. Is that it? We're ready for non-public?
Yep.
Anybody make a motion?
I'll make a motion, we go non-public for, under 91A, Roman numeral 3:2A, personnel for several different issues.
Okay, now this is the end of our public session,
That's
correct?
the end of our public session.
Okay. And I'll second that motion.
Second by Ellie. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Alessio?
Yes?
Briggs?
Yes.
St. James?
Yes.
And Wilson?
Yes. That concludes tonight's public